Hi, everybody. Carolyn Doran Ballard here, and welcome to week 7 of Ballard's Bowling Academy, Kicking Back. And joining me is Jeffrey, the manager of Ballard's Bowling Academy in Watauga. Jeffrey, first official week of being open. How's it going?
Going great. The bowling center has been packed every day. They are doing the social distancing with every other lane. They're cleaning like crazy, which is awesome. And we've taken our precautions in cleaning quite a bit. And we have been pretty packed as well. So we're very excited, happy that our customers are coming back and keep coming to us. And we're going to get you fixed up as quickly as we can.
Well, I know we had something that was advertised Thursday nights up at Watauga at 6:30, I believe. And Jeremy told me there were 71 entries. And again, social distancing was put into place, but it was a success.
Oh, it was a huge success. 71 entries. It was packed. Lots of people coming in. I'm telling you, if they could have packed the whole building and used every lane, I guarantee you it would have been like 200 entries. I mean, it was great to see everybody come out. Lots of high scores. Obviously, some people are a little bit rusty, but hey, who's not?
Right.
But at this point, it was really great to see everybody, and hopefully they will continue to keep doing them.
And I do appreciate the fact that everybody who was in the building, I know we've been up there a few times. Alyssa's practiced social distancing in full effect. They moved the chairs around. So actually, it was very comfortable. I didn't feel like anybody was trying to invade my space. Everybody was pretty mindful. So it's going pretty good up there. I appreciate everything everyone at Watauga is doing, and also at City View. With EJ, he's not joining us this morning, but I know he's been just as busy. A little bit more slow at night, but getting bombarded in the day, so that's really good. Reminder to everyone, I know I keep repeating this, but don't forget, logoinfusion.com, Dan Keegan Scholarship Fund. There's lots of scholarship money there to give away. And also Bowl for Life. Chuck and Debbie Gardner, great people for this industry, every month giving away scholarship money. So please, parents who are listening, youth bowlers who are listening, go out, fill out that application. Plenty of scholarship money out there for everyone. All right, Jeffrey, what do you think? Should we move on to our guest this week?
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited. Let's go.
We've made her wait long enough, right? Okay, so definitely one of my favorites. Watched her bowl in college, but I want to do something that I did with Kelly and mention some words that her peers and or friends and family said about this guest beforehand, which tells you a little bit about her before you even talk about her bowling career. So inspiring, driven, straight-faced, which I thought was a little strange, but I know exactly what they mean by that. Loyal, team player, and friend. So besides being a mom, an entrepreneur, a professional bowler, a wife, you name it, this person can do it all, and we're going to find out how. I want to bring in Stefanie Johnson. Hi, Stefanie.
Hey guys, from the other side of the Metroplex.
I know, and hopefully today, right? Good weather. You said earlier, you're going to be going on a picnic.
Yes.
And that sounds fun.
Yay! And here's one.
Hey, Levi, how are you?
Hi, my friends.
Levi, how old are you now?
Oh, Levi is 5, right?
5 already? So that means you will be going into first grade? First grade already.
He just graduated kindergarten. Yay! He'll be 6 in July. So
excellent.
We've had it feels like an extended summer with this, stay at home and place orders and all that stuff. All of a sudden becoming a teacher of kindergarten, which thankfully he's only in kindergarten because I'm teach crazy fractions and weird things for how to do. We're doing ABCs and we're learning writing and reading. So it's been pretty good.
That's good. Well, like I said, I have, I always have a script and how we're going to get into things, but and there's Kenzie. Hi, Kenzie. She's peeking around the corner. So
coming in here.
Okay, but let's start with this. So, we mentioned all of the things that you are and everything you represent. Tell us how you balance being, a professional bowler, an entrepreneur, a mother, and especially during this time of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I I'd be lying if I said it wasn't challenging. All of a sudden, life throws you curveballs, so sometimes you just kind of got to go with it. And for me, it's just more about just kind of being present where I'm at, and right now I'm at home. I've been blessed to have this extra time with the kids. So I'm looking at it from that perspective of that I was given this opportunity to be home with them and just have more memories. So it's been a good thing, and I think it's just important no matter what part of your life that you're at, whether you're bowling or working, that you're just present where you're at.
Okay. And one of the things I can see CJ going back and forth there in the background. He thought he was sneaking by, but we saw him. So CJ, Chris Johnson, being Stefanie's husband. So we talked about the kids. We might as well mention him, right, Steph?
Yeah.
Well, you've so far had a great bowling career in your short 5 years, because you were Rookie of the Year in 2015. But let's start from when I remember you. You went to the University of Central Florida, and Pat Costello, professional bowler, Hall of Famer, was your coach. Tell us how that set you up for your career.
Yeah, so I grew up in South Florida. I was fortunate that in Florida, high school bowling is a varsity sport. So it was probably in high school that I decided I was going to take this path. So I dedicated myself to bowling. I started taking it more seriously and getting some coaching and actually listening to my coaches. I could have probably went anywhere I wanted to at the time, but I knew I didn't want to go too far from home. And Pat Costello was just starting the program at UCF the year before. So call it perfect timing or whatever. I decided, you know what, I'm going to stay in state. I'm still 4 hours away from home, so I'm far enough away, but I'm close enough where I can go back. And just being under her guidance definitely transitioned me from just being a bowler to really taking it seriously. She took me under her wing. She often tells people that I was her kid. I just love her to death. With someone with her resume, I knew she could teach me the things I needed to know, both on and off the lanes, to be successful. I really do owe a lot of my success to her and just her patience and her coaching throughout my time at UCF.
It's funny. I take notes I say this every podcast. I take notes listening to our guests, and listen to your coach, which I love because, Sunday nights I do this little Zoom call with so many youth bowlers, and all of them now are starting to realize, oh, I wish I had learned to listen a little bit better when I was in 9th and 10th grade, now that I'm getting ready to go to college and things like that. So that's a great saying. So from there, you also have been on Team USA for 16 years. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah. So again, call it a blessing or a curse, but at my time at UCF, I decided, of course, this was the direction I was going to go. So the next step after college bowling was the PWBA. And I believe in 2003, correct me if I'm wrong, is when the PWBA officially folded, sophomore, junior. So essentially my dreams, if you will, were kind of pulled out from right underneath me. And I was left thinking, gosh, well, now what am I going to do? Am I actually going to have to get like a job? I tried out for Team USA in 2005. I felt like that was a good time for me to try out. I had already been on the junior team for about 4 years at that point. And I thought, you always hear that the only way to kind of see where you are is just kind of jump right in. And it was here in Dallas, ironically, and came out here, tried out for the team. I believe that year I finished 9th, but the way it worked, I got selected. So that was my first year on Team USA, and I've really never looked back since. It's been the biggest blessing that has happened in my bowling career, because I really do think if the PWBA Tour was around when I was finishing college, I would have completely missed the boat on trying out for the team and having all this experience, including with you, of course. And I think behind you is our picture from 2011 when we were in Hong Kong and we broke our 24-year losing streak.
24 years.
were really part of that. So, yeah, it's Team USA has obviously brought me around the world, and I have friends everywhere. I've gotten to see parts of our world and different parts of the countries that I just never thought I would ever get to go to. And on top of that, being able to compete at the level that we've been able to compete at and win, it's pretty amazing, because all of my non-bowling friends that get to hear all my stories just think it's the coolest thing ever. And I think, we can take it for granted a little bit, especially in this situation that we're in. A lot of us are just kind of getting back into bowling, but it's been the coolest experience I've ever had, being able to wear the red, white, and blue and represent your country doing what you love.
Well, with all that experience, you obviously PWBA Rookie of the Year in 2015. You've gone on to win 3 titles, of which one is a major, the Players' Championship. I know you've made a change in January. You came over to the Rotogrip family. And I know you and Jeffrey have worked closely with making that change and learning about the balls and the drills. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so obviously I took a leap of faith this past year, and it was 100% my decision to make that change. I had been in talks with Rotogrip and Storm for quite some time, and the stars just kind of aligned for me. They gave me the opportunity to, of course, come join the family, not only just representing them from a staff perspective, but they also have given me the opportunity to help them with social media and a couple other little projects. So that was kind of the turning point for me. Anything I do 100%. And I wanted them to make sure they knew that if I was coming over, I wasn't just going to be another bowler for them. So super grateful for that opportunity. And of course, with any major change, I had been with the brands of EBI for 9 years. So you get used to seeing a certain motion and seeing your ball do certain things. And anytime you change, no matter from what company to what company, it's just different.
Right.
I've seen that these balls are probably just a lot more responsive down lane, which is something I wasn't really used to seeing. So it's exciting because it's just new. And I think anything new is just always exciting. And Jeffrey has been nothing but helpful with helping me with layouts. And I'm slowly but surely trying to learn how to lay out bowling balls. So and allowing me to do that. I will have to kind of start all over again, but it's all good. So, it's been great. And I don't know that I was 100% ready for the tour this year. In April, if you will, it would have started. Mm-hmm. It kind of is what it is. And
right.
A lot lately, and whenever it comes back, whether it's this year or next year, or if we just have a couple tournaments, we're not even sure what we're practicing for. But at the end of the day, we love what we do, so we get out there and do it, and we will just wait patiently to see what's ahead.
Exactly. Now, Jeffrey, you have drilled a few balls for Stefanie. So can you indulge to us maybe what her favorite drill is, or what are some of the things you see out of a professional bowler when you drill their equipment? Is it really that much different than what you drill for someone who's maybe just competing in local tournaments?
Her favorite drill. We haven't really decided yet. It might be the upside down, right over the serial number type layout. I mean, we've tried that a couple of times. She liked it, so we're gonna go with it. I don't think we have a favorite layout 100% yet. We have like a general idea, but like we're still trying to figure out, if I'm correct, Stefanie, just all the different balls and the different motions, trying to see where they fit. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously I had to completely revamp my arsenal. So that in itself is overwhelming. You go from recycling everything you've ever had to now all these new balls arrive, and it's overwhelming because there's so many variables. You got new cores, new cover stocks, now you got drillings, and finding the right matchup is a challenge, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's kind of trial and error for everybody, whether you're at a beginning level or a professional level. We're always trying to learn what's best for us. And sometimes we just drill bowling balls for a specific pattern. So, you may throw it down the lane for a week and then it doesn't look good ever again. So it's just a trial and error.
So with that in mind, because this is a great tip, so you're always practicing. You make it it's more about the quality than the quantity. So right now, if you were to go practice today, what is something that you're working on?
For me, during this whole time when we weren't bowling, I've been working on literally getting stronger. So building the strength in my legs, just my overall wellness. Mm-hmm. So now that I've gotten back onto the lanes, I've noticed a big difference that just keeping my legs under me, just really being stable and just trying to get your timing back. Because I think what a lot of people need to understand is that bowling isn't just like riding a bike where you just get back into it and everything's all to give yourself grace that it's just going to take time. So I've been giving myself that opportunity to kind of, try to get back into it and get the feel down and just literally take it one day at a time.
Well, if we do get to bowl in 2020 or 2021, whatever it be, but let's be positive, later this year, when you get out to bowl a few pro tournaments, what do we expect to see from Stefanie Johnson?
Well, you expect to see the fire that I have, very much like you do, Carolyn. And I would much prefer to be bowling than doing the commentating. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for that opportunity, and I love being able to do it. I would much prefer the other side of the camera. So it would be awesome for me to make my first show the first year throwing a different brand. And if I come out with a win, that's great. If not, I can always hold my head up high knowing that I give it 100%, because at the end of the day, no matter what sport you play, there's only one winner. So
right.
As much as I'd love for that to be me all the time, it's not realistic. So all I can expect for myself is just to give it everything I can all the time.
I don't think there's any doubt when you bowl, you're there 100%, both mentally and physically, and you handle it well. You really do. You have I don't know if the word stable is it, but like a stable demeanor. You can see when you're aggressive and you're fiery, absolutely. But even when you're not bowling up to what you would feel is your best, it isn't a downer. It isn't the slumped shoulders, whatever. You still have this aura of I'm going to get it. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. That type thing. And I think that's a great quality to have. That wasn't one of my best assets by all means. So I think that's a great quality to have. And I think it's a great quality for the up and coming bowlers to see. Do you think of that? Do you have to mentally think of that, or is that just part of your demeanor?
Years ago, I had to think about it, but it's been a conscious effort. So I think being able to just have that even keel, I think is kind of what you're talking about, is key to a lot of my personal success, because so often, bowling or any sport it's a roller coaster. I choose to just kind of stay on it nice and steady. Don't let my highs get too high. I don't let my lows get too low. At the end of the day, if I don't make the cut or if I don't make a show, I still look myself in the mirror and say, like, what did I do well today? Because there's something good in everything. You may not have, again, made the cut, but hey, I picked up every spare or whatever. Right. There's something to be said about your performance that is a good takeaway. So I think it's important to see the positive as opposed to dwelling on the negative. That
correct.
Do it well.
Well, and I don't think I don't think that's a learned, like you said, it's something that you take over time through the highs and the lows and things like that. All right. Tell us something that people don't know about Stefanie Johnson. What is something we don't know about you? Or I don't want you to give away a secret or anything, but what's something we don't know about you?
Well, if I told you, then you would know.
Well, it's something you don't care if it gets out there.
I don't know. I think during the holidays, people probably figure it out. I have an infatuation with nutcrackers. Show us. It's my bowler Bill. He's
bowler
Yeah, he's part of the strike club. He's got his ball. He's got his trophy.
Nice.
This wasn't planned, by the way. This literally stays out all year. I'm that creeper, I guess. But
oh my gosh.
But
I didn't know that though. I didn't know you were crazy about nutcrackers. I mean, I've seen them every now and then in your pictures, but
I have like 60 of them every year.
Wow.
Rows. So like Christmas time comes around, all the nutcrackers come out. I have some that are 6 feet tall, 4 feet tall, little guys. They're all creepily in the attic and in the garage, but I don't know. I started that collection a while ago, so that's kind of fun. It's unique, but it's a part.
I like that. That's really cool. Now, Jeffrey, I know in speaking with you, you've been a member of Team USA, college bowling. I know I always bring it up, but you had talked a little bit about how important it was to surround yourself with good people, positive people that elevate you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And how did that affect you? And then Stefanie, I'd like you to answer the same question.
The thing is, when I first went into college, I mean, I had a lot of fun times, we'll put it that way. But I was also, you guess you could say, the hothead, the biggest head in the building. Couldn't figure out how my head ever got through the door. But with Wichita State and college bowling in general, it opened my eyes to there's a lot more to bowling than just the self aspect, I guess you could say, because I was extremely individual before I even went into college, and surrounding myself with a lot of positive people like our coaches, Gordon, Mark Lewis, Rick Steele Smith, that's now the coach of the men's team. I mean, surrounding ourselves with those great coaches, with the positive teammates, and what the coaches were talking about has been extremely instrumental, because if you don't surround yourself with positive people, I feel like you fall into the negative aspect of everything and the woe is me. And the more
Right.
positive you can be, the more positive people you have, the better your outcome's going to be. And the best thing about that is not only is your outcome better, the people you're with, their outcome is better as well.
Yeah, that's great. That hit it right on the head right there. Stefanie, tell us a little bit about your roommates on tour and who do you surround yourself with?
Yeah, very much to echo what Jeffrey just mentioned. Often you hear the saying, you are the company that you keep. And that really resonated with me, luckily, at a younger age where, in high school, I was never the popular kid. I didn't have all the clubs and all that stuff. I stuck to bowling, and that was my kind of outlet. And I surrounded myself with people that had that same drive and that same vision to just be better versions of themselves. And that just kind of has followed me my entire life. And my circle of friends is pretty small. I have a lot of friends, but my core is pretty tight. And I think that's important for a lot of people because you can't be everything to everybody. And
Amen on that.
And do that, it's just not realistic. So I invest all my energy in the people that invested in me, which tend to be the more positive, uplifting people that I look up to, that inspire me. And of course, I room with Shannon O'Keefe on tour the majority of the time, and she's one of the most inspiring people that I've ever met. She's a hard worker, and obviously her career speaks to that. So I definitely have spent a lot of time with people that can bring out the best in me, and then of course me bring out the best in them.
I can't and we're gonna chop that we're gonna chop that segment somehow and keep that for our youth kids, for our clinics, because I actually got a little teary-eyed on that one. I did. People forget. They forget when they start to get what they want, they forget where they started. And I can't get over the amount of times I just remind people, remember where you come from. Because those are the people I think about it. Those are the people that stick by you no matter what. I made a comment the other day on the PWBA podcast. I mean, Anne-Marie Dugan was my friend when I was Carolyn Doran, and she's my friend as I'm Carolyn Doran Ballard. I mean, she she liked me when I had nothing. And she, you know what I mean? And she just stuck, she stood by me as things got better. So I think that is so important that the kids learn. It doesn't matter whether you have 5 friends or you have 15. It is your core. It's about your values, their values, and how you make each other better. And I think that's so important now, especially in today's day and age with the craziness that's going on in the world. Sticking to, the people that can make you better and stronger. And that you're a true testament to that. I consider you a friend, so thank you. I mean, I might be in the, there's that circle and then there's that other circle, and I might be somewhere in the middle there. But thank you. I feel good about calling you my friend. But leading on to that, I want to talk a little bit about you being a champion, so that I don't keep tearing up. I want to talk before we leave. I want to talk a little bit about you being a champion. Your major championship was won here in front of your hometown crowd.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to summarize what that week was like, and then leading up into the TV show, because you're staying at home, I'm sure, right? You stayed at home that week, correct?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here you are making the TV show, and here you are now a major champion. Tell us a little bit about that and the feelings.
Yeah, and ironically, they just replayed it this past week as their third match, so I got to watch it again, which is always fun. That week was a little bit of a blur for me. I think there's some expectation that people have of you when you are in your home center and you are, just comfortable where you're at. A lot of the people that know me at Plano Super Bowl and watch me practice and that whole thing, they've never seen me compete at the professional level. So that whole week was just an eye-opening experience for a lot of them. And for me too, because it's still just an event. And yes, It is comfort of my home center, but there is some challenges that come with that, because I'm not going back to hotel room where I can just kind of unwind and settle down and debrief kind of what happened for the day. I'm coming home, which is a blessing in a lot of ways because I'm coming home to my family. But on the flip side of that, you have to switch modes. You're now not bowler, you're mom. So that in itself brought its own challenges. But obviously the week went really well for me. I ended up being the number 1 seed. And weeks prior to that, I was the number 1 seed at the US Open show, and I lost. So there's just a lot of different things that go through your mind of, we've already been here before, we've been down this road. Well, what are we going to do differently this time around? And it's not that I did anything differently. I just processed it was the US Open was the US Open. Wasn't my time. Here we are at the Players' Championship. Let's give it another go.
Right.
And I just, rewatching that match on Thursday, remembering the back and forth of each frame, it was Kelly and then it was me, and it was Kelly and then it was me. It's like readers just giving it back and forth. But being able to come out with the win in front of my family, my hometown, and of course Jamie and everybody at Plano Super Bowl was just something I'll never forget. And then the icing on the cake was that Shannon was commentating that week in the booth, because of course Kelly and I were bowling.
Right.
It was kind of like it was just written for me, when I looked at that was just supposed to be my win.
Right.
And it was just really special because everybody that, my family was there, and can't do it without them.
Right. Sure. Well, that's a great way to end it. If you couldn't have written it any better, is really the way it is. I mean, it's just everything you said earlier, stars aligned for you. And I know you like stars. So see, I do know that. But no, it was a great win. I was there. I watched. It was fantastic. But I want to thank you for spending this time with us. There are so many things people don't realize when you are a professional athlete. There are sacrifices made. There are good times and there are bad times. Sometimes you are alone. Sometimes you are with your unit that keeps you, your village that keeps you stable. But there are a lot of sacrifices that go into being a champion. And I want to thank you for sharing a lot of making people aware of there's so much more that you do than just bowl. I mean, taking care of a family, being an entrepreneur, being a wife, there's a lot of hats you wear. And it's not easy. It's not easy. But you have found your key to success, both on and off the lanes. And I want to thank you for sharing that with us. And you inspire me. And I know you inspire Alyssa because she loves you to death. So I want to thank you for all you do on and off the lanes because you're top notch. We're lucky to have you.
Well, I call you a friend because I'm watching you bowl on tour, wanting to be that person. So it's we live in a really cool world where bowling is such a small community, and where not only can I call you my friend, you've been my teammate, you're now my neighbor.
Right.
Pretty awesome.
That's cool. Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you very much for the kind words. But Stefanie Johnson, we got to have Stefanie back because there's so much more I want to talk to her about, your fanny hose and everything else. We don't have enough time for everything. So we are going to have you back. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks for joining us this week, Stefanie.
Thank you guys for having me.
Keep inspiring, would you?
I
Good deal. Thanks, Steph. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Well, Jeffrey, I want you to sum up in one word what that brings to you for the day. If you could just pick one word.
I can't pick one word. I would say, in a way, without thinking of like Marvel heroes, I would say Superwoman.
Superwoman. She is.
She just does so much, and I know she really is a huge family person, and takes care of the family and takes care of Chris Johnson here and there when she needs to and stuff like that. So the best thing is, like you said, she wears so many hats, and a lot of people don't know the person besides, I just see you in a bowling center and that's all I see. So that's the best part.
That's what I think I like about these podcasts, especially, and I know me, and I get emotional and I get into I do, and I don't know why either, but it's through the years, even when I was touring, everybody used to always say, oh, it's so much fun to travel. Oh, you get to go everywhere. They just don't see the different sides of sometimes the toll it takes on what you're trying to do to be the best. And sometimes it's harder to stay at the top than it is to get there. So it's just great. She's inspiring. I just love her to death, and we definitely have to have her back. Yes. So onward to Ballard's Bowling Academy. Jeffrey, let's talk a little bit. Sunday nights, I've been doing a little podcast with some of the youth bowlers. It started with the youth bowlers in our area, and now it's grown to the Hawaii Bowlers Tour, and we've got more local bowlers on there. We got some bowlers from California. But if you could give a piece of advice that I could use on our little Zoom chat tonight, because we're actually taping this for our Tuesday, but it's on Sunday, what would you tell youth bowlers?
I think the one thing I can tell them, and just piggybacking off of Stefanie at this point, because she says everything right, so I have to piggyback, right? So the thing is I love the fact of just trying to surround yourself with your core people that you can and be as positive as possible, because the thing is, in bowling and with youth bowling, things are going to go well at times and things aren't going to go as well. And when things don't go as well, how does that test you? How did you learn from it? What can you do to make the positive out of it, instead of sitting there and going, I didn't do well, this isn't the best, and so negative? Instead of that, let's go with the positive. Let's surround ourselves with great people and then continue to move forward.
And you could not have said it any better. So what we're going to do next week? We're going to have a couple of our youth bowlers do a little snippet, and we're going to ask them that exact question. That's awesome. Surround yourself with your core people that are positive, people that make you better. And hopefully we do that at Ballard's Bowling Academy. That definitely is one of our goals. We want you to go upward. We want you to be better. However that is. You don't have to be a professional bowler to be a great person or a great bowler. So
Correct.
Excellent. Okay, Jeffrey, do you want to do a giveaway this week? What do you think? Before we sign off, what do you think?
Well, I think I want people to comment on our Facebook page, and if they want to email in, you can also do that as well. I want to know something that the people do after you bowl that's positive. What do you do after everything's done? It may have went great, might have went wrong. And then what do you think we want to give away? I know you had some good ideas earlier, Carolyn.
Let's have a T-shirt. We'll give away a T-shirt. And let's see, what else in there let's do a T-shirt, and we're going to do a turbo dry towel.
Ooh, I like those. I've been using mine.
So we're going to do a T-shirt and a turbo dry towel. And like you said, go to our Facebook page, Ballard's Bowling Academy. And after you're done bowling, we want to hear something positive that you do no matter how you bowled. What would you do that was something positive? I love it, Jeffrey. Now, don't forget, please continue to check out ballardsbowlingacademy.com, where we have all of your bowling needs. And we're also going to be updating our Ballard's Bowling Academy blog and some of our youth kicking back chats that we've been doing on Sundays. We're going to put some of that up there. So for all you youth bowlers, make sure to check out our webpage so that you can keep up with the best in bowling. Join us next week, and thank you for the support that you give to Ballard's Bowling Academy.